I know. I know. Do you? Me. Anyway, I know that I am not the only person that when you're having a day, you go out to your car and you just sit in it and you jam music, right? I can't be alone. Well, I am alone. There's nobody in here. Oh, except my mildly aggressive shopping addiction back there. What is that? I don't know. And tonight, I was literally just sitting out in my car, my new car, a car that I have worked so incredibly hard to be able to buy all by myself. No, guys, I know that sounds silly, but I am 48 years old, and I literally just bought my own very first car. Huh, yeah. I caught grief when I shared it, and you can even ask my husband. I bought it on a Saturday, and I still didn't even post on social media about it until I think it was a Thursday after. My husband actually came home and said, "Why haven't you shared it? Why isn't it on Facebook or Instagram?" And I said, I don't know. I did know. And so did he. Because although I had worked so incredibly hard, ooh, your auntie is a hustler. I work hard. I'm a real estate agent, and one of my biggest regrets is how hard I worked, because that was so much time I didn't get to spend with my best friend before she passed away. And I deserve this, and I work really hard for it. But I didn't, well, my husband finally had to fill in the blanks because I didn't respond to him when he asked. He said, "I know why you haven't." He says, "It's because my beautiful wife works her A off, but yet at the same time, she is the most humble person I know." And I am. And although it's probably not the best timing to go, well, it actually was. My other car, which I loved, I had an Acadia Denali that I'd had for 10 years. I loved it. Oh, she was nice. And she had bass. But she also had a problem. You know, the little lights that light up on your mirrors to let you know when cars are on your side. I had to go to Salt Lake for a biopsy, and I ended up having to go alone. And that feature hadn't been working for a little bit, which didn't bug me because I lived in Elko, and didn't bug me until that trip. Y'all, you have no idea how scary that was for me to be on the freeway in Salt Lake City. I don't drive in the big city, yo. I'm a small town girl living in a lonely world. But because I cannot turn my neck because of my neck fusion, I have a 7-level posterior and anterior fusion in my C3, 4, 5, 6, 7, T1, and T2. Whew, with a cage in my 5, 6, 7, where all of my bone was gone and I had an internal decapitation. Anywho, y'all, I'm not good in the city streets. I'm not. But I could not see to switch lanes to see if there were cars next to me because my feature was broke. So I literally would put my blinker on, squeeze the wheel, and just hope for the best, and slowly, it was bad. It was dangerous. If I even get into a slight fender bender, Auntie's gone. Or I'm quadriplegic, best case scenario. Anyways, Uncle Mike wasn't able to go to that appointment with me, and the next morning we'd been talking about getting me a new car. Well, I'd been talking more about it than he was, and we were talking about maybe getting a Mercedes or a BMW or an Audi. And the next morning I realized, you know what? I think it's that time. And I am so grateful. I am so grateful for God leading me straight to the Mercedes dealership first. Because most importantly, there's 2 things that are really important to me. Okay, 3. Number 1, it has to be safety. Because like I said, if I even get into a slight fender bender, my C2 is the only one that isn't fused and it's already slipping. And if your C2 slips, that controls your lungs and your breathing. And so if I even get into a slight fender bender, I might not be here anymore. And if I was, I'd be quadriplegic. So I ventured off to the Mercedes dealership by myself, and these are the most safe vehicles. Y'all, no, legit, my car's got a feature that if I'm about to get T-boned, the car can sense it from a certain mile away. It will readjust my seat and everything so that I will get the least impact possible. The what? Not to mention this bad boy parks for me. No, like, that's huge. That's huge. It'll parallel park, back in, front end, whatever. It will park for me. And again, with my neck, that's money. And I'm not going to lie, but right now as I'm speaking to you, I'm getting a massage. It gives me a massage. Which when you're out in your car having a bad day and you're jamming your music, a massage is not a bad deal. The car also drives for me. It's neat. When I met the guy at the Mercedes dealership, I said, "Look, I love my car. I've owned it for a long time. I don't have a payment on it or anything. And it's got a really nice stereo." And I said, does this one have a pretty good one? Is it better than Bose? Y'all, I didn't even know what Mercedes, like, models there were. I'm just a small town girl. He looked at me like I was making jokes, yo. He's like, Bose? And I took that as a, yes, ours is far better. So in Auntie's book, when you buy a car, the most important thing, of course, my safety. Because I can't jam the music and I can't enjoy the bass if I'm not here. But then number 2, coming in hot, it's got to have boom. It's got to have bass. Y'all, my first car was a Suzuki Samurai. It was one of the most famous cars in Elko history. My little green Suzuki Samurai. And if we weren't living in such a woke world right now, and tell you what everybody calls it, it has a name and everybody knows it. But apparently, you know, these days you can't. Just, it was a cool car. The other thing that was really important to me is very comfortable back seats, because my mom, my beautiful mama, is going legally blind, and my incredible, handsome father is extremely diabetic type 2. And so we will be driving them to doctor's appointments out of town, and it's really important. In fact, the guy at the dealership told my husband, your wife must really love her parents, because before she would get into any of the cars, she would get into the back seat first. When he asked me why I did that, I told him, I said, I can't fall in love with a car if the back seat isn't incredible first. So I got to find that out first before I even get in the front. And I'm here to tell you, this bad boy, it's like, I think they've got more room back there, and it's a 3-row car. Anyways, I don't even remember what the point of my video was. Huh. Oh, yes, I do. Well, there's a few points. Tonight I was sitting out in my car and listening to a song that, honestly, since I bought in this car, it's probably the one song I've listened to the most in it. And it is that Lonely Roads by Jelly Roll and Machine Gun Kelly. Not only because it's got bass, like, but there is just something about that song that it hits just right for me. All the emotions. It's an amazing song. It's a beautiful song. So Jelly, Machine Gun, cool, beautiful song. Cool song. That is a, like, amazing song. But I was sitting out here thinking, gosh, I wish my best friend was here. I really wish she was here. I could literally hear her as I took this car off the lot saying, really, Letty? Rolling in a benzo? But I was thinking about younger me and my Suzuki Samurai and the twang to twang twang bass that I used to have. And I was thinking about just how far I've come. When I met my husband, I literally didn't even have a bank account. I worked at a grocery store. I was a checker. My home had literally just burned down. I was a single mom. My house had burned down in August, and I met my husband in October. My last paycheck that I had gotten was on my counter, cashed, and I lost all my money when the house burned down. I didn't have renter's insurance. I had nothing. And I remember my husband buying me the Acadia because I had a 400 credit score. I didn't even know anything about credit. And then when we bought my dream home, my castle, my little princess castle, he bought it. And I remember sitting in that room while he was signing, thinking, I will never feel like this again. Never. And y'all, I am so proud of myself. I did it. I did it. In fact, they told Mike, she's better than you are with credit. Well, not like a lot. I'm trying to be nicer, but either way, it was just me on the car. He's got amazing credit too, but I surpassed him. I guess what I'm trying to tell you guys is, if you really put your mind to it, if you dream big, if you knew the girl I was before and where I'd come from, the success that I've achieved on my own, then you know you are capable of achieving anything in this world. Because Colette, little Colette from the alley house, sitting now outside of her little princess castle in her Mercedes, jamming out to a Lonely Road, missing her best friend a lot. Well, I find myself talking to old Colette from the old alley house, kind of like she died too, like Andy. And tonight I told her, you did it, kid. You made it. Holy crap, you did it. In fact, you couldn't get so much further from where you had been, where you are today. There's nowhere else left to go. Stop being so hard on yourself. You did it. So I don't know. Just wanted to share that. Oh, but I want to share this too. This is super cool. My car also lights up like a badass club scene. And you can choose through 62 colors. But I think this one's my favorite. So cool. And I think it's time for humble Colette to stop being so hard on herself. I love you so